Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're looking at something really intense, a tantric initiation.
Right, and specifically at the Tarapith cremation ground at midnight. This is based on excerpts from a new book, Midnight with Kali at Tarapith.
That setting alone,
Mhm.
Tarapith at midnight. The author talks about how the whole atmosphere changes, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It shifts completely. The casual visitors, they leave. And what's left are the really serious practitioners. The energy becomes much more focused, much more potent.
And this author, they have a history there. It wasn't just a fly-by-night visit.
No, not at all. Their first trip to India back in 2017 included Tarapith, and they've been back apparently quite a few times.
Finding new insights each time, especially about Kali's compassion. Which, might sound a bit strange for some people, associating a cremation ground deity with compassion.
Well, yeah, but that's kind of central to understanding this aspect of the divine feminine, isn't it? Her fierceness, that transformative fire, it's often seen as a form of fierce compassion.
Cutting through illusion.
Exactly, like a surgeon's knife sharp. Maybe painful in the moment, but ultimately for healing. Removing what binds you, what causes the real suffering.
Okay, so the author describes this final visit before the book came out. Deep meditation, midnight. And then this sound breaks the silence.
The jackals. Howling. But not just randomly howling in perfect unison.
Which, in that kind of charged environment, probably means something, right? What's the significance?
Well, in many traditions, especially in places like cremation grounds, which are seen as liminal spaces, unusual animal behavior, particularly synchronized stuff like that, it's often taken as a sign.
A sign of what? Heightened energy.
Could be heightened energy, yeah.
Right.
Or connection to other realms, maybe even a form of communication, that unison, that perfect timing. It suggests a really powerful alignment happening.
Wow. And then there was something else, something visual, the pyre flames.
Right, the flames from the funeral pyres nearby. They apparently bent directly towards the goddess shrine.
But against the wind.
Against the wind. Yeah, that's the detail that really jumps out. Fire itself is symbolic, obviously purification, transformation, but flames defying the wind to move towards the shrine. That underscores something extraordinary happening, something beyond normal explanation.
Definitely gives you pause.
Yeah.
Now, the author shares these intense moments, but also mentions some experiences were just too sacred, too personal to put in the book.
And that tells you something, too. There's a reverence there. Some experiences are maybe meant just for the individual, for their own integration. Putting everything out there isn't always the way.
It could diminish it somehow.
Potentially, or lead to misunderstanding if the context isn't fully grasped. Some things are just deeply personal transformations.
But they do share a core message, something Kali seems to value above all else, according to this experience. And it wasn't about, spiritual brownie points or complex rituals.
No, exactly. The key takeaway seems to be authenticity. Just raw, absolute authenticity.
Kali sees through the facade.
That's the idea. She sees beyond the spiritual credentials, the rituals, the ego games people play, even on a spiritual path. It's about what's really in the heart.
The author uses this phrase. Kali burns away every pretense, every spiritual materialist agenda, every ego game. What exactly is a spiritual materialist agenda?
Yeah. That's about using spirituality like another form of acquisition, collecting experiences, knowledge, followers, status symbols within a spiritual context, but without the genuine interchange.
Right, focusing on the external rather than the internal transformation.
It's the ego still running the show, just dressed up in spiritual clothes.
Makes sense. And for listeners who are drawn to this kind of, intense past, the author's new book, Veils of Fire, is out next week.
Yeah, though they mentioned there might be some delays getting it in Nepal and India, which is just a practical reality sometimes.
What's the focus of that book? More cremation ground teachings.
Seems like it. Teachings gathered from cremation grounds in both India and Nepal. So probably continuing this theme of transformation through confronting the difficult stuff.
Yeah, it sounds like it's definitely not spirituality light. It's for people ready to face uncomfortable truths.
Right. It's not sugar-coated. It implies you need to be willing to look at the shadows, the difficult aspects of life and yourself, because that's part of the path to purification, to real growth.
So the author leaves us with this really evocative image. The Dark Mother awaits those ready to face what others avoid.
Powerful.
It really pushes you, the listener, to think, doesn't it? How authentic are you willing to be? How ready are you, really, to face those deeper, maybe uncomfortable truths on your own journey? What are you avoiding?